What if I told you you could build an AI mentor based on some of the greatest minds in history in only a few minutes? Well, today we're going to do just that, and we're going to do it live, and I'm going to try to keep this video around 5 minutes. So here we go. All right, so here I have an open chat window. In this case, I'm using Gemini. You can use any LLM you choose. I also like to keep my thoughts collected in a separate notepad so I don't crowd the chat window before I start putting stuff in. That's just a personal preference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start layering in some of my context. And context is super important, probably the most important thing in AI right now. The more context that you give a certain idea, the better results you'll get. A lot of people are just putting in kind of lazy prompts and getting answers that they're not happy with. The more you can give it, the better. Believe it, it understands what you're trying to say. So I'm going to layer in the first sort of prompt here. So I just say I want the space to act as a mental map so I can bounce ideas off of. I want it to help me with personal growth and career making decisions and help me stop overthinking. Okay, so that's the first part. And so now I'm going to start saying, now we can build the first part that will construct the mental map. So I decided to base this off of Charlie Munger, very famous investor, Warren Buffett's partner, and he was kind of famous for creating his own mental map in his mind that he would consult when he had difficult decisions to make, and I thought that was a really cool idea. I've also been reading, or I read Naval Ravikant's Almanac, another great thinker in the tech space. So he references Charlie Munger a lot, and he has his own mental map. So it kind of just is really nice to put the two together. So I'm just saying, hey, I want to create this based off Charlie Munger, and his most famous kind of book was the Poor Charlie Almanac. All right. So now I'm just layering in another thing. I'm just giving you an example of Charlie Munger's thinking just to give more context. Say, hey, I want you to apply, in this example, Charlie talks a lot about inversion and how to apply that to problems. So just giving you an example of the philosophy. And then in this paragraph, I also mentioned I want you to embody the voice of him and also Naval Ravikant. Now, it can pull information from the web about these two figures, but I'm deciding to just drag and drop two PDFs here of their, some of their work, just to give it more context so it doesn't go out on the internet and hallucinate. So I dropped two PDFs in here, and now we are on our way. I'm just going to say, okay, attached are these two files, pull the wisdom of those, but also feel free to draw resources from the web. Okay. And also something that I'm into is Stoicism. So I'm going to just bring in Stoicism. I think all three of these work really well together, and you can really use anything you want. It doesn't have to be these people. It can be anyone who you look, for advice to. It could be even modern figures. I've used this to consult for marketing, like use the voice of Gary Vee or anyone. And the beauty is you can have 10 different mentors for 10 different things, right? So it's just amazing what you can do if you just put a little bit of work into the prompting and giving context in this chat window. You're going to really be amazed at what you get. So now we're going to give it a little bit of time to think, go through these huge files. Now, all right, the mental map's constructed. Great. Now we're starting to get core principles. Munger view, Naval view, Stoic view. Talks about inversion. It talks about understanding the game you're playing. And then what's awesome about this is it's nice to read, obviously, the works of these people, but for me, it's better to kind of remember all of what I read when I apply it to a specific problem that I have, right? So this is what we're doing. So we're just building a lattice work of mental models. So this is all stuff that is referenced from all these great books that were written, all these great thinkers. So now I'm going to take a problem that I have and I'm going to type it in the window. And the problem is I want to consult you about utilizing social media. I want to generally avoid the dopamine hits, the comparison, the negative stuff, but I also have a business to run. So, any sage wisdom on how to deal with this? And so, we will have an answer, and the answer will be based on all of these philosophies that I've cultivated in this chat. All right, let's start by inverting the problem. What would guarantee a miserable and unproductive experience on social media? Consume mindlessly, right? So it's applying that inversion. Here's the job. Is it a tool? Is it a toy? Become a producer, not a consumer. I love that idea. I'm producing content now. I'm not consuming it. Apply the Stoic dichotomy of control. Play a long-term game. Build a system. So this is just one example of how to use it. I thought this was just so cool, and it's just infinitely useful. And like I said, you can apply it to anyone you want to consult and have any infinite number of combinations of consulting. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you do wind up doing this, I would love to hear about what you created. Leave me a comment and let me know.